Most people talk about compounding like it's some kind of financial superpower. They say things like, start early. Just let compounding do its thing. Time is more important than money. But there's a question nobody ever asks out loud. A question that quietly decides whether compounding will change your life or do absolutely nothing for you. And that question is this: what is the minimum you actually need for compounding to work its magic? Not the textbook answer. Not the motivational quote. The real answer. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. For many people, compounding never kicks in. Not because they're lazy, not because they're stupid, but because they never cross the invisible threshold. This story is about that threshold. And once you understand it, you'll never look at money the same way again. Chapter 1. Two friends, same start. Let me tell you about two friends. We'll call them Daniel and Marcus. Same age, same city, same salary, same dreams. They both graduate in the same year. They both land decent jobs. Nothing fancy, just normal. They both hear the same advice. Invest early. Compounding will take care of the rest. So they do. Daniel invests a little every month. Marcus invests a little every month too. 10 years go by. Daniel checks his account one day and feels sick. Marcus checks his and feels calm. Same time, same effort, same idea. Completely different results. Why? Because compounding didn't show up for Daniel, but it did for Marcus. Chapter 2. The lie we're all told. We're taught that compounding works like this. Put money in. Wait long enough. Boom. But compounding doesn't work on hope. It works on momentum. And momentum has a minimum speed. Think about pushing a car. If you push lightly, the car doesn't move. You can push for hours. Still nothing. But once you push hard enough, something changes. The car starts rolling. And suddenly, keeping it moving takes less effort than getting it started. Compounding works the same way. There is a minimum force required before it even begins. Below that level, time doesn't help you. It actually betrays you. Chapter 3. Why small amounts feel pointless. Daniel was doing what everyone says to do. He invested what he could afford. He stayed consistent. He waited. But every time he checked his account, it felt like nothing was happening. The gains were tiny. The losses felt bigger. Inflation quietly ate away at progress. So emotionally, something dangerous happened. Daniel stopped believing. Not out loud, just inside. And when belief dies, discipline follows. This is where most people quit. Not because they hate investing, but because it feels disrespectful. Like the effort isn't being acknowledged. Chapter 4. The invisible line. Marcus did one thing differently. Not smarter stocks. Not luck. He crossed the minimum compounding line. This line isn't the same for everyone, but it has 3 ingredients. Enough capital, enough consistency, enough time without interruption. Most people focus only on time, but time without capital is just waiting. Compounding needs something to multiply. If there's nothing meaningful to multiply, nothing meaningful happens. Chapter 5. What minimum really means. Here's the part that changes everything. The minimum for compounding isn't about becoming rich. It's about reaching the point where your money starts doing more work than you do. Not someday, not in theory. You see it year to year. When your gains are bigger than your monthly contribution, compounding has arrived. Before that, you're still building the engine. And engines don't fly planes until they're complete. Chapter 6. The painful truth. Here's what nobody likes to admit. If your investments are growing slower than your effort, you are still in the setup phase, not the compounding phase. That doesn't mean you're failing. It means your job right now isn't patience. It's accumulation. This is where people get stuck because they think, I've started investing, so I'm done. No, you've just entered the hardest part. Chapter 7. Why most people never get there. Life interrupts. Bills show up. Emergencies happen. Motivation fades. And because the numbers are still small, it's easy to say, I'll pause for now. But compounding hates pauses. Every interruption resets momentum. It's like trying to boil water, then turning off the heat every 5 minutes. You're always close, but never there. The invisible years no one talks about. Every wealthy person has invisible years. Years where nothing impressive happened. Years no one applauded. Years where quitting would have made sense. Those years weren't wasted. They were charging momentum. Why understanding this changes everything. Once you understand this, you stop asking, why isn't compounding working yet? And start asking, am I still building momentum? or breaking it. That shift alone separates dabblers from winners. The final realization about compounding. Compounding feels like magic only after the work is done. Before that, it feels boring. But magic doesn't come from luck. It comes from not stopping. The question that will decide your financial future. So here's the real question. Are you still building the engine? Or is it already running? Because compounding doesn't reward hope. It rewards momentum.